Thank you so very much for joining us for the Coach's Corner right here. And we are still in the For More for Life campaign for change. And we're going to change the description a little bit for those of you that are following us on Spreaker. We're going to change the description to fit certain titles in there because we want to move forward and have that available as a database going forward. Thank you so much for those of you that are joining us on iBroadcast TV, those of you that are joining us by way of the Facebook page. Thank you so much for those that are joining us via the Twitter links, Ustream, and YouTube. Today we're going to talk about your campaign manager. As you already know, I don't know if you've decided, but as you already know, I have posed to you whether or not you're going to run for more for life in any aspect of living. Have you made up your mind? Because you're going to need a campaign manager that can get you elected. Yes, that's right. You're going to need a campaign manager that can get you elected, that can get you votes, that can get you success, outcomes, all of that and more. So welcome aboard. This is the Coach's Corner. And I'm your coach. We are in the midst of a campaign for 30 days towards change, a deposit toward change. I always say it's a deposit because so often, more than not, we set goals for a particular change and we don't like the change we got. So you really truly need 90 days to evaluate the 30-day change, make adjustments in the second 30-day, which would make it a 60-day change. And then by 90 days or the first, I want to say close to a first quarter, not quite, you can be satisfied with the outcome having tweaked it on the left, right, up, down, and all around. But, you know, for those that don't really think that deeply, they say, oh, I want to do this. And then, you know, they plunge ahead, you know, a bare bones plan. And then, you know, you get what you get, you receive what you put out. You put out a little planning, a little thought to it, then that's what you receive back, little results and little productivity. And so my job is to help you with that. But on this campaign for More for Life, you're going to need a campaign manager. And let me just pause and ask, have you even thought about running for More for Life? Have you thought about it? Most people, when you listen to people, most people want more in life and more out of life. I'll say that again. Most people want more in life and more out of life. But there is a sector of our culture that is fastly and rapidly growing that is caught up in two extremes. One extreme, the extreme of immediate results, and also the extreme of the burden of responsibility, if you will, or the burden of debt is a better way to put it. And we have both extremes nearly choking our potential all the time. But you're going to need a campaign manager. And if I was your campaign manager, I want you to know that there is one rule that I would pose for all of the team that is working to help you get elected in life. Elected, chosen for more. I want you to, we're using the political scene to simulate life. You get it? Elected, chosen, voted for, agreed with, deals, opportunities, new ventures, if you can get elected. And so if you can get elected, a lot of you just can't get elected. You keep trying and you keep trying and you keep having a failed campaign because you don't have a campaign manager. You don't have a campaign manager. You're trying to do everything. And some of you out there think that you can do everything. Can't nobody tell you anything because you can do everything. Damn it, stop it. You need a campaign manager. And I'm going to pause and let that sink in. You need a campaign manager. Why? Because of the rule. If I was the campaign manager in your life, I have one rule. You want to know what the rule is? The rule is this: play the game of life and not play games in life. I felt that right there. Play the game. I don't have the time to describe everything to you. You got to follow me. You got to keep up. Some of you already know how I think now. You know how I roll. You know, we can go 7 layers deep, or as my chief operating officer helps me with, we can go 1 layer. It doesn't make a difference to me. Whatever works and gets us through to the outcome. You need a manager. We need people to manage the change in our lives so that we can ensure a successful election. So that we can ensure that the electorate, or the people that will grant us great opportunities, the people that will grant us grave ops for service, will not feel let down. You can't manage change by yourself. Why? Because too many people are practicing deflection. Deflection is when you put something off on somebody else or something else and never take personal responsibility for having been a part of that yourself. Remember what I said, that we are the common denominator to every situation, particularly as it results to you. You could blame me for that, but because you are involved and you were there, or your thought process was, you know, whether it be a bill or whether it be a job or whether it be a relationship, it doesn't matter. If your name is on it, then doggone it, you can't keep deflecting it. You need a campaign manager because a lot of us are running on emotion, pure emotion. You need a campaign manager because a lot of us lack self-correction. Some people, they grown as heck, but they don't know how to correct themselves. You wonder why you can't have the change that you can believe in? Because the change that you perceive that you want, you're not disciplined for. Yeah, the change that people perceive that they want, include myself. I have a campaign manager. Need some help right there. So you thought you was going to get out the door without, come on now. I have a campaign manager. There is someone that helps me manage the change in me. As a matter of fact, I got a campaign manager and a campaign advisor. I felt that right there. But we need a campaign because a lot of folks are practicing deflection. All you know how you are an expert at being able to duck the ball that comes your way with your name on it. You're running on emotion. You lack self-correction. And then because you lack self-correction, meaning that it's up to you to correct yourself, you're basking in self-deception. And because you're basking in self-deception, you're spoiling your reception of blessings that are already been said yea and amen, your reception of new opportunities, your reception of multiple income streams, your reception of blessings. See, most people live their lives by sight. You can't fool me. You're talking that you're living by faith, and there may be a level of faith involved, but you're walking by. That's why he said we'll walk by faith. That means that in the practicality of the matter, I'm walking by. I am daily, moment by moment, walking, taking my time, instance upon instance. It's by faith. You need a campaign manager and you need a campaign advisor. We'll talk about that on another season, another time in this campaign for More for Life, 30 Days Towards Change. But you're practicing deflection. You're running on emotion. You lack self-correction. You're basking in self-deception. You're spoiling your reception, and you'll never receive strategic direction. I'm bad to the bone, and I like it. but I paid the price in blood to get here. And you're going to pay the price to get to where you imagine. And it'll be beyond what you imagine, but you got to start somewhere. Because the reality of many people's hell is choking their expectation of the heaven that they want. The hell of paying bills that seemingly don't go away. The hell of kids that don't want to listen, and teachers that say that your kids is bad when you know your kids have been taught. You know what I'm saying? The back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The flames. Hell doesn't necessarily. Come on now. Let's just bring that on there. The flame, the continued flame. It seems like it's an eternal flame of circumstances that just don't go out. Debt is a flame, eternal flame that can choke the expectation of heaven. But listen, you need a campaign manager and an advisor. Today we're talking about campaign manager. We might continue this on day 8. And a campaign advisor. But see, the problem is this. You got one rule that you got to follow. You got to play the game of life and stop playing games in life. But you ain't gonna do that, are you? Because see, in order to play the game of life, you got to admit you've been playing games up to now. Well, I didn't even know that I wasn't playing the game of life. Liar, liar, pants on fire. That is not true. You've been playing games with yourself. You've been running and ducking and hiding, shucking and jiving, as the old folks used to say. You've been playing hide and go seek. And telling all your friends and family through your actions and attitude and altitude, because if your attitude is all of what you say it is, then your altitude would be where you say it should be. But because your altitude is low, we know that the attitude that you say you have is not authentic. We got to adjust. That's why we need a campaign manager. We need somebody in our lives that help us play the game of life and stop playing games. I'm just going to pause right there. Your future is predictable. You want to know how? I know what you will do in your campaign for more for life. All I have to do is look at your past patterns. Most people are not objective enough to even look at themselves because they are afraid of what they will see. You've been basking so in deception that you are afraid to look in the mirror at tier 1 of you. And this is the hardcore part about relationships, why so many people, look, I might get in trouble for this, but you want to know why a lot of people are coming out of the closet? I give you one, and I repeat, one ideal. Just one, please. One. There's many, but one. If you run the gamut of what the intention of something should have been, you become thirsty for that which shouldn't have been. I'll repeat that. If you run the gamut of what shouldn't have been, or what you shouldn't do, eventually now you're going to run the gamut on what you, if you run the gamut of what you should do, you're going to eventually run the gamut on what you shouldn't do. And one of the reasons a lot of people are coming out of the closet, to me, this is just me, this is the coach. It's a song. I can't get no satisfaction. Can't get no satisfaction, with this man. I can't get no satisfaction with this. And they turn to the opposite sex. And it's not to say the opposite sex cannot be attractive. Anybody that says that is a liar. You got somebody that's more handsome than you. You got somebody more pretty than you. But it don't change the fact that your patterns are predictable. If your patterns are your patterns, thought patterns, action patterns predict the future. And your future is expendable based on your past patterns. In other words, your future is both predictable and expendable. In other words, you could be counted out of the campaign right now before you start.